Today I'm building a console table that looks like this. Actually, I'm rebuilding it because back in 2018, I had designed and built this table, which is based off of a Ballard Designs console table, which is not available anymore. But back then, I used to not record a lot of video, and I don't really have very good pictures of the process either. And it's got a lot of mitered joints, which lead to a lot of questions. So I decided to rebuild it. But this time around, instead of using pocket hole joints for those mitered ends, I'm going to be using dowel joints because it's fun to challenge yourself. But if you wanted to use pocket holes, you could totally use those as well. The plans do call for pocket holes, but if you want to follow along and use dowels, you can totally do that as well. Of course, as always, the plans are linked in the description below. But before we get started, if you are new here, I am Anika, and my goal is to demystify DIY and inspire and empower you to build all of the things. I have a ton of tool tutorials, project ideas, resources, and courses to help you along the journey. So definitely check those out in the description below. Now, let's get back to the project. Now, one of the things with this project is because we are making a whole bunch of mitered corners, it is extremely important. Well, it's important for any project really, but it's very important to double check and triple check the alignment of your miter saw. And I do have a detailed video on how to align a miter saw, so check that out. However, before I get started making the cuts, we're gonna check exactly how the alignment on my miter saw looks and make sure it's perfect before I start making all of these cuts. So I checked the alignment on the miter saw and got to cutting. So first up, I'm making the mitered cuts. Now, my best tip to make the mitered cuts is to leave your saw at that setting and just make the cuts. So what this means is you'll have to flip the boards over to get the right direction of the cut, but leaving the saw at that setting makes sure that you don't have any variations and things fit really well. Once all the mitered cuts were made, I set the saw back to 0 degrees and made all of the straight 90-degree cuts. Okay, so I have made all of these cuts, all of these angled cuts for the leg frame. Now it's time to put it together, and remember, I'm going to be using a dowel jig to put it all together. I did do a trial run. It works beautifully. I did realize that I do need some sort of clamping mechanism to hold this joint together. And after a little bit of research, I found this jig by Wood Whisperer, which is super easy to make and it works like a charm. So I will add a link to his video in the description, but we are going to be using this jig. I made 2 of these. Hopefully they'll be enough because we have a lot of these joints to make. So let's start making those dowel joints. First, I'm assembling the legs, and I have 4 of these. So I did a little bit of a dry fit and marked exactly where the dowel jig would align to. The key to getting perfect dowel joints is to make sure, number 1, that the line on the dowel jig and the line that you marked are perfectly aligned, and the dowel jig itself is really tightly clamped to the board, because if there is any movement, any variation at all between the 2 boards that you are joining, you are not going to get dowel holes that align, and your final joint is not going to align really well. I used the clamping jig I had made, and it worked like a charm. Now, I did realize because I made both of the joints at the same time, it was a little hard to get all the clamps in there and sort of make sure everything worked right. So for the next time around, I did 1 joint at a time. And since I had 4 of these to build, I just kept doing 1 at a time and swapping out the clamps one by one until I have all 4 legs done. Okay, now the way this is going to work is we're going to have the 2 legs on the 2 sides, and then we're going to have this board going between them like so, like that, and then this guy is going to go up here like that. I hope it all works out. This is where everything needs to come together. Everything needs to be a perfect fit for it to work. So the best way to do this is probably to attach this and this on one side, and then add the dowels over here and attach them. The thing is that they will both need to be attached together at the same time when we put it all together. So let's try that. Let's start with this end. So I'm going to attach one end over here, and then I'm going to attach this so I can clamp them, because I don't think I can clamp. There isn't enough space over here to clamp both the corners together. And what will we do when we get to this end? We'll see. But let's start with one end and go from there. I repeated the entire process and made the dowel holes on each of the ends of the boards that we're going to join. And because it's a lot easier to handle all of these boards right now before they are joined together, I also made the dowel holes for the other end. I put the first two joints together, and I'm telling you, this clamping jig has been a lifesaver. I mean, look at that joint. I am so proud of this. So I totally forgot that there are these blocks that go in the middle over here that not only help with alignment, but also add a little bit of stability. Now that I think about it, I really don't know how I would have done it in the first place with dowels, because then I would have to put this in this direction as well as this direction, and I don't know how that would have worked. Maybe it would have worked, but I have no way of trying it out. I am building two of these frames, but I am building them in tandem, so both the frames are in the same status. So both the frames look pretty much the same. So I can't even try that out on the second frame. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to use pocket holes to put it together. I was hoping not to use pocket holes for the frame like this. I will be using pocket holes for the aprons when I attach the two frames together, but I guess we do have to use pocket holes to kind of make sure everything pulls in tight and stays aligned. So I'm going to do that first before I add in the other side. So I marked the center of my board and the center of that little block, and it's got the two pocket holes going each way, and I aligned it exactly where it was supposed to go, clamped it really well, and added the pocket hole screws. Now comes the part that I am the most nervous about, which is attaching this other set of legs. It basically means that everything that we have done until now should be very well aligned and square and perfectly matched up. You can see I struggled with it a little bit. The clamping jigs did not sit flat because of the block. Ultimately, it did take me a few iterations to slowly squeeze each joint one at a time back and forth until everything was all together. And look at that. I am so beyond excited that this worked out. And my friend, we've got both of the leg frames done. Now is a good time to sand it all down to remove any glue residue on the joints and all of those pencil marks. Now, because I'm human and not perfect, there are a couple of joints that are not tight. So here's my little trick. I smeared a little bit of wood glue and wiped off the excess. And when it was sort of dry for a couple of minutes, I came in with the sander. Now the sawdust from the sanding mixes with the glue and creates its own wood filler, and you get a seamless joint. Plus, it also stains decently well. Now let's move on to the aprons that are getting pocket holes. So I made pocket holes in all of them with the 3/4 inch setting on the pocket hole jig. I have a ton of tutorials and resources for pocket holes. So if you're new to that, I will add a link to that in the description below. Now let's attach the aprons. So I attached the aprons on one of the leg frames. I used a clamp to clamp it down. I made sure that the pocket holes were facing inside and added the pocket hole screws. So there is one apron on the bottom, one apron on the top, and one apron that is 3.5 inches from the top apron. So I used a piece of scrap 1x4 for that. This makes sure that the aprons are aligned with the boards on the front of the leg frames. Once all 6 aprons were attached, I set that on the side and then flipped it over onto the other leg frame and attached. Now you want to make sure everything stays super aligned as you're attaching, so this will help keep everything square as well. And we have the final leg frame for the console table. Now it's time to attach the support slats, and these are attached using pocket hole screws. I added one on each end of the table and then 3 in the middle. The spacing of these 3 support slats is very important, and I will get to exactly why in just a little bit. Okay, so next up, we are going to add the spacer between the frame and the top. So the way this is going to attach is it's going to align right here on the inside lip of this edge. Now, it is going to be attached with pocket hole screws. And what we want to do later on is also attach the top to this apron. So to make the pocket holes, we are going to have to mark exactly where the pocket holes are going to go. So to attach this to the frame, the pocket holes are going to be between each of these pocket holes in these slats. And then to attach, because we are going to be coming in from the bottom here and attaching to the top, all of the pocket holes to attach to the top are going to have to be in this space right here so we can reach them. I made pocket holes on all of the markings, and this is what it looks like. Now let's attach the spacer to the table. The key is to make sure that the edge of that spacer is aligned with the front edge of the console, or the back edge in this case, and I added pocket hole screws to attach that spacer to the support slats. And then I repeated that for the front spacer, and also I added the short spacers on both of the sides and attached those with pocket holes as well. So it's time to attach the top. Now, one of the things that I want to bring to your notice is I always tell you, do not make all the cuts at once. You want to make the cuts in phases. So for this project, I made the cuts for the legs. Once I built the legs, I measured and made the cuts for the spacer. And then I measured again and made the cut for my top. Now, the reason we want to do that is because there are always little variations. And when I measured the spacer, actually, I already knew, but the top and the spacer, which is supposed to be 38.5 inches, actually ended up being 1/8 of an inch more. So it's 38 5/8 of an inch. Now, why did that happen? I don't know, because everything is square, everything worked perfectly, but there are variations that happen. We are human, things happen. So I can take that into account as I'm making the cuts. Now, if you make all the cuts at once, then we would have been in trouble. But now that I know, I was able to account for that as I am making the cuts. So I've cut out the top, and I've also cut out the 2 side trims, which are basically the same width as my 1x12, which is 11.25 inch. And now I can hold these in place temporarily, measure the length, and then cut out the front and the back trim. So that way we get the perfect fits and we get a good looking project. I used double-sided woodworking tape to hold the boards in place so I could measure and get the exact accurate length that I needed to cut the trim boards to. Once all the boards were cut, it was time to make pocket holes in the top to attach the trim pieces to. The pocket holes go on the inside of the top, so they will all be hidden. And once I had the pocket holes done, it was time to attach the trim pieces. Now, it is super important that all of these boards stay well aligned as you are attaching, because you don't want any little steps and misalignments on the top. So clamps are definitely your best friend here, and you will need multiple of them. And that is the top ready to go. And now it's time for the moment of truth. Will this fit on top of the spacers? And it does, and it's a nice tight fit. I used pocket hole screws to attach the spacers to the top, going through the spacing between those top support slats. I gave everything a final sanding, and it was time to prep for stain. I was going to go with water-based stain, so I applied water-based pre-stain conditioner. I sanded down the raised grain and started staining. Now, the problem with water-based stain is that it dries really, really fast. So the drips in the back started to dry, and because of the design of this table, you're going to see every single drip. And I really wasn't loving all the drips that I wasn't able to blend in. So After a lot of thought, I decided to go ahead and use a darker oil-based stain on top. And this worked and looked so much better, especially because oil-based stain is a lot more forgiving. It takes a while to dry, so you can easily blend in any drips that happen. After the debacle of trying to stain that whole thing by hand, I decided to pull out my paint sprayer and spray on all of the top coat. And that is it. That is the beautiful console table. I still can't believe I got all of those miter dowel joints so nice and tight. Of course, as always, the plans for this table are in the description below. Thank you so much for watching and stay tuned for the next project.